Colin and Samir are two of the most influential people in the creator economy right now, and they've been talking about a lot of different things when it comes to hooks. Now, for us, it means a lot and shows us exactly what we need to do when we're coming into the future of this channel as well, and for you guys too. So let's get into this, and hopefully we'll talk about some things that maybe you don't really realize when it comes to the hooks of your videos. Let's talk about it here on GodMade.
Yeah, you know what? I just start off. We talked in a previous video about value ladders, and these guys do it perfectly. They get you sort of hooked into the concept, and right around the first few minutes, they'll be like, and by the way, guys, we have this whole framework like broken down for you. Which if you just go to
$29.99.
No, it's free. Go to this opt-in, and it's this first stage of the value ladder.
Let's talk about Colin and Samir in general as we get into this video.
Yeah, who are they?
Who are they? What? How do we know them?
How did you guys discover Colin and Samir? Because you guys turned me on to them.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching Colin and Samir for many, many, many years. They used to make videos like probably when they had maybe 50K or less. I mean, before they even had this channel, they did Lacrosse Network, Lacrosse Sports Network.
Oh, really?
So that's where they kind of got started and where they became friends. I think is kind of back then. So they created basically the ESPN for lacrosse, essentially.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
So they actually ended up selling that to someone else later on when they didn't want to do it anymore after college. They ended up selling it and then getting out of that. And then they started Colin and Samir. They moved to LA, and essentially what they've become now is the center for the creator economy. And so they made a bunch of videos on Colin and Samir all throughout the time. Some of them kind of random, some of them kind of vloggy. They were really heavily inspired by Casey Neistat, for example. But they created a lot of stuff which eventually culminated into them doing more creator-focused things. So they used to do this thing where they would just talk about different creator-focused things in their car is where they always filmed. And so they didn't have a studio or anything. They just filmed it in their car, and that was like their set. Like that's what they always did their videos in. Then eventually...
Were they driving or they were just sitting in the car? No,
they were just sitting in the car because it was good acoustics and stuff.
That's hilarious. I did not know any of this.
And if you go back on their channel, you can see kind of all of this. But yeah, now they have a really super nice studio in LA and all that kind of stuff. They're interviewing creators, all that kind of stuff. But how did you get into them?
I don't remember, but I just started watching when they had big famous YouTubers. You know, they've had Mr. Beast and Dude Perfect, and then ones that I don't know about, but topics. And they ask the questions that you would want to ask a creator who's quote made it. You know, and so it's just you kind of get to hear. It's kind of part. You know, there's a podcast called How I Built That. How I built this, but like you kind of get the origin stories of some of these big YouTubers, and then so they're just inspirational stories. But then I love when they go very hyper practical and like break down things like a hook. So
there ought to be a podcast called How I Built This, which is a whole different belt. Like belting, like belt. Like making belts.
Is that your dad joke for the episode?
That's my dad joke for the day. You're welcome on that.
I thought you meant belting like singing.
Yeah, belting it out. Okay. How I built this.
I can't.
Sorry.
But Colin with him. Yeah, Colin and Samir though are the center point, I would say, of the modern creator economy. Yes. Which I think is huge.
So that gives you guys some context. If you don't know who they are, we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
They have this this free opt-in called the 3 components of a great YouTube hook. And I just thought I'd review that with you guys, and because I think it's incredibly fresh and new and hugely relevant if you are creating content. Honestly, it's relevant for any content creator because it applies directly for your YouTube videos, but it applies if you're having a conversation with someone. It applies if you're writing an email. Anything that you're doing that is in any way trying to influence someone, it can be really valuable. The first component of a great hook is confirmation, confirming the click. So in the first 7 seconds, you want to make sure that your piece of content, your YouTube video, is immediately delivering what your title and your thumbnail promise. So viewers feel confident they clicked the right video.
Yeah, because it's the worst thing in the world if you say, I need to learn how to fix my 1964 Chevy alternator, and then you get in the video and it's My Little Pony. Has
that happened to you?
No, I'm just saying. It would be the worst thing ever if that were the case, right? Yeah. You would hate that creator,
or you wanted to see how I built this, and you went to how it's a whole belting video.
Yeah, you went to how I built this, which would be horrible. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's clickbait 101 right there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you want to confirm the click in order to show them like, okay, this video is titled something to the effect of Colin and Samir's framework that helps them to build this huge empire, right?
Yeah.
If we're getting into this video and we're not talking about the hook or whatever that goes along with that, then of course people are going to click off. They're not going to be interested, right? Which has happened to me in the past, has happened to us in the past with thumbnails and titles that maybe don't fit 100% of what people are expecting to see. They'll come into the video, they'll watch it for a little bit, and then they'll dip out, right? Because it's if you're not confirming it, then they're not. That's not what they're there to watch. They're going to leave.
Do you think we did a good job in this video in the first 7 seconds of confirming the click?
Definitely not. No, for sure not.
You better record that intro then first.
Yeah, again. I mean, let's just break it down in real time. Your intro is going to be so important to confirming the click.
Yeah.
Especially now that we changed our format, because we used to do release videos that were an hour long or so, and they had 3 different topics. But usually our videos were only talking about the first thing. We were only talking about.
We used to have 3 topics in one video. Now we're doing 3 videos instead of
3 separate individual videos, so that it should always confirm the click in the first 7 seconds.
And that's the hope, is because before we were worried that. There are some channels that do this successfully. I think our channel is probably not one of them, right? Where you have 3 pretty disparate, pretty separated topics, and how do you package that? It makes it incredibly hard to package because who is going to care about all 3 of these topics at one point in time, right?
That's why we break it up into smaller 20-minute, 30-minute videos. That I think will be much more relevant in the first 7 seconds, especially. Let's try to confirm the click. All right, so that we got that. Number 2, in the first 7 to 20 seconds, establish the video and make it personal. Explain who you are, why you're credible, so authority, why you're credible, and what the viewer will get out of watching this video. Build trust and context quickly.
Yeah, this is massive, I think. Because let's say, for example, I'm doing a video on John the Baptist, right? We do a video on John the Baptist, and I say, in this video, you're going to see how John the Baptist died, exactly where he died, and I'm going to show you exactly where he was beheaded. Right? That's a great intro hook, right? You're confirming the click of what I've probably shown you on the thumb and title. Then I get into, hey, my name is Brandon. I travel all around the world.
That's it.
In order to show you these Holy Land places, right? Or these places where things happened in Scripture, right?
And is showing video of maybe B-roll of you doing that. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's
giving authority. Yeah. I'm believing you now.
Exactly. Yeah. You have a reason to watch. Because if I do the opposite, let's do the opposite and say, okay, in this video, I'm going to show you the exact location where John the Baptist died. I know nothing about it. I've never been there before, and I'm not exactly sure if this is exactly the place.
I'm out.
Right.
Comment below if you can help me out.
Right. It definitely changes the way in which you engage with content. For sure.
So establish your authority. Make it personal. Establish the video.
I think that's the key. The second piece of that, the make it personal piece. Because if I think this is something that Matt needs to work on in his channel, which is I think why his one video did super well is because it was personal for people. Because not only are they followers of Tom, some of them, right? To give context. Matt did a video where he talked to Tom Bancroft, who is a famous Disney animator who left Disney for his faith, because of his faith, right? And so this video did insanely well for you. It's like, what, 200,000 views?
It keeps on going. It's like 210 or 205.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But the video is doing insanely well for him. Clearly the top 1 video that you have right now. And the reason for that, I think, is because the thumbnail is showing this transformation of I left Disney for my faith, for Jesus, right? Then when you come into the video, you get the confirmation of the click from the little montage that you have of what's going on with the video. Then you get into the video and it's made personal to them because it's not just something that they can envision happening to someone else, but that it's something they can envision happening to themselves. Oh, would I leave my work for my faith? Would I leave my career for my faith? Would I change what I'm doing for my faith? And I think that personal piece is what really sells it, what really makes it intentional for people to watch.
Well, and I think the authority aspect of it too is that this man does know what he's talking about.
Yes.
He's got the authority to do it, and
Yeah.
you're kind of highlighting his.
Well, and
journey.
you see all the Disney stuff he's worked on, like in the
Yes.
back, he's talking
Yeah.
about it, and
You're
then you
establishing
see
that in the first 20
his
seconds.
authority is established. Like
Yes.
there's the animation desk that he worked
Yeah.
on Mulan and all these things.
And
So,
I don't. Yeah, it did help that he mentioned it and shared it, but it absolutely would not have taken off if you hadn't have maybe followed this formula.
Yeah, I only got 1,000 views from him sharing it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 209,000 from YouTube algorithm saying people like this. So.
Right.
So, and then the third part of the framework is introducing a new hook by 30 seconds. And a new hook, it means some sort of tension or something else that's going to get you to watch the whole video. And again, going back to your Bancroft video, I don't know exactly what you did in the first 30 seconds, but there was a tension of we're going to tour his whole studio, and you have to kind of watch it.
If you want to see it all,
if you want to see it all.
Yep.
You know,
Another way I've heard Colin and Samir say it, also like Donald Miller, who's big in storytelling, is open a story loop.
Yep.
You
A
know,
curiosity
like
loop.
a curiosity loop, something else like.
Yep.
And then it keeps people going, oh, I want to see that. So that's why sometimes, and you can do this annoyingly, but like make sure you stay to the end or coming up. Like this is in old media, like in radio, like there's like coaches who their whole job is to teach radio DJs on how to tease and forward sell. And it's because in radio, they're trying to get
them through the commercial.
to get them to come back and listen. And so they're always saying, coming up after this song, we're going to reveal whatever. And so, this is not a new practice that Colin and Samir came up with. Like this has been happening in TV and radio for the last 50 to 100 years.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind that these first three things happen in the first 30 seconds of the video, which is really wild. Just to further talk about what you just said, add an open loop or challenge that gives viewers a reason to keep watching until the end. A transformation of some kind, a test of some kind, a reveal that they are going to experience somewhere in the video that hooks you in. So there's really it's just like a second hook, which is wild.
I'll say this, as a full-time YouTuber that makes videos and especially puts out videos every day and especially live streams, this is incredibly hard to do. It's incredibly hard to do. When you don't have time to spend really crafting the hook for your video, it's a hard thing to do retroactively. And it's right. Like unless you have it like perfectly planned out, especially the way that I make content. But I'll say someone who does this incredibly well is your friend Pat Flynn. Pat does this incredibly well on his channel Deep Pocket Monsters, where he talks about Pokemon, especially when he's talking about filling these binders. So let's say he's trying to fill a particular Pokemon set and like collect the entire thing in one day, right? He's got this giant binder called the Chag Giga Binder, right? It's this character that's on his channel, but it's also an event, right? That he does. Like it's the type of video that he does now. So the thumbnail and title will be him holding this giant binder, showing some of the cards that are in it and how he's missing a bunch of cards, right? Then the title will be, if I don't complete this in 24 hours, I have to give it away, or I'll fail the challenge or whatever it is, right? Then when he gets into the video, he explains that very quickly. Then he gets into establishing what he's going to do, where he's at, what convention he's at, and how he's going to do it, which is establishing the video. Then he's going to make it personal and say, this is my favorite set I've ever seen on Pokemon. I have to collect this because it's my favorite set, right? But along the way, we're also going to give away these 30 cards. And if I don't give away these 30 cards, then something else will happen, right?
Done all three things.
Right.
You're basically adding obticles.
Yes.
Right? Like drama.
Yeah.
To it.
Yeah. You know who my favorite creator is that does this? Dora the Explorer. Because if you think about her videos, right?
Yeah, the map.
She has this map that on the map she has these 3 locations that she's going to go to, right? And if she doesn't complete these 3 locations, she won't be able to save this person or find this treasure or to do this thing, right? And then along the way, she has to avoid Swiper the fox, right? And so there's another open loop that we don't know when Swiper's going to show up, but he's going to show up sometime
and there's always
in the episode.
he shows up, and you look for it, and you can't wait for him to show up. Man, your taking me back.
These are all examples of scripted content.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for you live stream, I walk and talk for an hour with a guest.
Yeah.
Like it's harder. Like how do we?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
How do you plan it when it's more impromptu? I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
it's really important, I think. What this made me do is it made me stop and think about my video before I even start making it, of what all of these key elements are going to be in the video. But it's like, and it'll actually make me decide whether this is a great guest or whether this is a great video that I want to make. So it really, and again, it's a new muscle for me.
Yeah.
It's probably a new way of thinking about your
Well,
videos.
and I'm trying not
Because then you're trying to. Sorry, I just want to finish my thought. You're not only are you picking your guest, but before you're heading into it, you may even want to kind of prime your guest as like what you're thinking about. Like that I want. Here's how I'm going to pitch the video.
And here's the reason behind it.
Yeah.
So here's an example that I thought of, but I didn't do it because I thought it would be gimmicky. And so I toured K-Love Radio's headquarters and interviewed one of their DJs and was walking and talking and getting to hear just cool stories of how that ministry was reaching millions of people. And I thought, you know what would be interesting is and then I started feeling like I'm Mr. Beast. But I was like, what if I, at the beginning, tease or open up the loop of, will they let me go on the radio? Like, will they let me get in front of the mic? You know, and like, but it doesn't really fit into I'm trying to encourage you to be salt and light. And now Matt's like trying to go on the radio, like, because I'm not really trying to do it, but it would be interesting, like.
You are not like an Eric, I would say. Which like that is
mischievous, and he's
that's something that Eric would try to do. Not that he would try to sneak in front of it. I'm not saying that you would try to do
and
that.
I'm not talking about that. Like, it's more not me trying to sneak on. It would be like, will they let me? Like, I can like throughout. But then I would be taking the focus off the content and like, hey, could I go on the radio? You think? Like, it just wouldn't. I don't know.
And that's not the open loop that I would open up for you.
Yeah.
I would open up the open loop of like it wouldn't be a challenge for you, first of all, because I think your guest is the star.
Yes.
As we've talked about before. So like if I were to do like a K-Love, for example, I would go through and I would interview with them, but at the beginning you would have to take the footage that you have, like you're doing now, put that montage in the front, and that is your key. You're way more similar to Diary of a CEO than you are like a Mr. Beast or an Eric or something like that, because they're more challenge content. We're like, let's see if we can go do this. Where that's not your goal. Your goal is to discover things and to talk through things. Yeah. So you need to have that footage ahead of time and then tease that in the beginning of like
more of like, you won't believe what I discovered that this happens at in this building at this ministry or something.
Let's say like there's a moment in the video, like a perfect ending loop for you would be montage of building interesting thing here. Oh, there's an artist that's in the building right now. Oh, they're doing this, right? Then at the very end of that montage, to open up a new loop, I would have the guy, like, as he's about to open up a door, right? Be like, okay, I'm not really supposed to show you this, but and then he's opening the door and then it cuts and then you go to the episode, right? Okay. That would be an open loop that I would use for you and just make it really authentic and real. I wouldn't make up like an alternative challenge for you to try to do. I don't think that's how your open loops would work.
Some of it is then planning it.
Yes.
Where it's still authentic, but like, okay, yeah.
But then take what you've got in that footage, and I keep on messing on this. Take what you got in the footage, and then use that to your advantage as best you can. Just like Diary of the CEO, where they have a lot of like. They spend so much time on their hooks; it's insane. Yeah, it's really really insane. So,
yeah, but you can casually and carefree go through the tour, etc. too. Yeah, and then afterwards do the intro.
That's another element. Is like I can still keep the interview pure, in the sense of like just go with what I'm feeling during the conversation, and then go, oh, there was something that happened halfway through. Do a quick insert of myself going and coming up later, you'll never believe what they said or showed me, or kind of alluding and foreshadowing.
And you can amplify it to a point too, right? Like when we talk on this podcast, we're not 100% our normal selves. Like we're a little bit amplified, right? Because we're on camera, right? We're talking through things and we want it to be interesting. Yeah. So like even on this podcast, I think there's a lot of moments where we could even like allude to certain things even more, right, and play it up even more, especially for those intro moments. And like, there are things that if people don't understand them, like, it will destroy their channel, right? It's like that I could use for an intro clip now, right? So like things like that, I think it's so useful to have these moments of like, if you do not get this correct, which I think is true, if you don't get this hook correct, I think that it will hurt you in the long run, and it will make it so that people will not watch all the way through your videos. They won't click on your videos to begin with because they know that you're a boring creator, right?
Yeah.
But if you can like do this well, it'll give people confidence in you and allow them to be willing to use their time on you. For sure.
Yeah. So that, I think this is just such a great exercise for us to go through, is to just think through this first 30 seconds of our videos and what that's going to mean for the viewer, and pull some of the. It might require more editing. It might require a little bit of extra work,
planning ahead of time,
etc. And by the way, they have a really cool, and I'm not going to talk too much about this. You should definitely get Colin and Samir's 3 components, and we'll put a link to. I'll put a link to it after we're done and after it goes live. But they have this thing called like a Mad Libs script template that you can follow. So again, it's kind of like for dummies. They have this laid out for you on even how you could script it. And if you, I'm already trying to apply it, and I'm already seeing how easy it is. I'm starting to remember what the sentences are, and what the, there's always a but in one part that will introduce that next loop. And literally that's the word you use, and things like that will help. It's just really an easy guide. So get that. I encourage you guys to get the guide and do it with us, because it'll be really, really valuable.
Before we close this out, let's walk through like 2 or 3 intros and just like workshop them here live, so that we can see how it would work. So let's start with like some channels we know. So my friend Mike does the Pop Culture Chef, and so by the way, just got monetized, hit over 1,000 subscribers.
Hey,
got
amazing!
His first
Good
day
job,
was
Mike.
$5.19, I think.
That's more than I got.
I think that's great on the first day, and so he's running with it and trying to do stuff in that realm. But his next video is making everything an elf eats in Lord of the Rings, so like at a feast or something, right? So he's making like lambus bread and some of these other things that they would eat at a feast, right? A lot different than hobbits, for example. They don't really, like, they drink alcohol, but they never get drunk, right? Elves don't really get drunk. There's a lot of things that impact their meals, right? What they would eat.
You seem a lot cleaner and neater.
Yeah,
and
more
organized.
plant-based, but they do eat meat, things like that, right? So anyway, let's think about this video. How would we implement this structure here?
This formula.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's think.
Well, first of all, it's confirming the click. So we want to make the first 7 seconds.
Yeah. So in the first 7 seconds, I would say something like, today we're going to be making elf food from Lord of the Rings. I know that you guys know a lot about these other characters, but what do the elves eat, right? So like, I would say something like that in the first 7 seconds. Yeah. To like hook them in and say, we are doing this.
The title and the thumbnail have to sort of say that too.
Yes.
Because I clicked on it because I saw that.
Exactly.
So this is confirming it. So that's the first 7 seconds.
Yep.
I would agree. I wouldn't change anything about that. That's pretty good. And you can start to do this. You're really good at coming up with this stuff.
I have to, because I'm live, right? So I try
to train that muscle.
This is why it's really difficult for me, because I try to do this live.
Yeah.
And I've tried before to like sit down and plan them ahead of time, but it's just really difficult for me.
Yeah.
But in a live setting, I try to do this as much as I can. I need to get better at it.
Yeah. Sure. So the second part of this is the 7 to 22 seconds or so.
Yep.
Establish the video, make it personal, establish authority, and make it personal. So I would say something about Mike has already done a ton of research on this, and he's done several videos on this topic.
How long he's been a chef.
Long he's been a chef.
I've watched the movies X amount of times.
And he's done videos about this before, where they found out all this really crazy stuff about other things. So now we're going to do the same thing with elves.
Yeah, and that even leads to his Hobbit video, which did incredibly well for him. That's his main viral. It's kind of like main viral video that's kind of taken him to where he's at right now.
It kind of reminds me of when we really started to take off with the Walker Stalkers podcast that we did, we got it. The hardest part was getting that one guest because we had no authority. Like no one knew us. Like, why should I be on your show? So we had to sort of fake our way until we made it. You know what I mean? In some ways, like I told you, we had to come up with like makeup, callers and things like that. Yeah. And that was what we chose to do. We didn't have to do that, but that was just kind of what we chose to do. We tried to be entertaining and leverage our entertainment value first. Yeah. But we could leverage the authority we had was we could talk about our experience on the set. Like no one can take that away from us. We met these people. That's some bit of authority. So anyway, all I'll say is like once we got our first guest, then we could and you can leverage your Bancroft video, and so it's always difficult to find that. But once you can establish some authority in the video itself, we're just talking about that. That's how we would probably do that, right? We would talk about our previous video.
Exactly. I would talk about. I would show the Hobbit video, show how many views it got to show like, hey, people actually really love this video. And then also I think it would help YouTube's AI to connect it to that video as well. Which could be a really good suggesting point to get more traffic through. But I would definitely start with, this is an elf video. We're going to cook elf food. Then establishing the video itself, I would say, or establishing your authority. I would say, yes, I've been a chef for this amount of years. I have done all these videos according to this, and specifically this Hobbit video, which we talked all about the lore of the Hobbits, blah, 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 all that stuff in the 7 to 20 seconds, right?
Yeah. And I think the new story loop you could open up is done the Hobbit video, but unlike Hobbits, elves are way more picky. Or something like that. Add a self-imposed challenge. Or make up like they have dietary restrictions or really hard ingredients to get. Am I going to be able to find everything I need to make the perfect elf?
So this framework is the reason that his Hobbit video did so well. We actually studied this and used it on that video in particular very specifically.
But did he do that video and then it wasn't working, and did he do it again? Or is this, did you plan it ahead of time before you did it? So
yes,
you did it very intentionally.
We planned it very intentionally. I took this framework. I literally sent him the creator support video where they're going through this. And I was like, you are going to do this for your next video. Follow this exactly. And if you don't, I will tell you not to post the video. Like I was very, very strict with him being like, we are doing this. And so he did it. And you can tell in his intro, if we watch it, it's very much like, boom, 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 these exact things. So the open loop that he had in that video with the Hobbit video was the reason why I'm creating this feast is because we're going to make a whole feast for my family to have, and we're going to sit down and watch The Hobbit together, and we're going to have this. But I only have this certain amount of time before they get home. So that was the open loop.
That's the open loop.
The open loop of like, there's only a certain amount of time I have to do this, so let's see if I can do it in that time frame.
So, or he could do like, I can only use these ingredients.
Exactly.
Potentially.
Nick D. Giovanni is huge with this. My son loves his content, and there's always a clock going.
Yes.
And there's like the suspense, and they always end up finishing the dish with 1 second left on the clock.
Yes.
But it just adds that heightened intensity of, are they going to get it? And the music, adds to it.
Because he comes from MasterChef, which they always do the same thing.
Bryson DeChambeau does this as a golfer. He's he is a professional golfer, and he always has a celebrity. But their challenge is, can we break 50 together? They play 18 holes. Great interviews during the 18 holes.
And he has the biggest people in the world. Like
and he
Trump
has the hugest. He
has
Trump,
on his channel,
and they almost broke 50. But you won't know. And to be honest, like his is cool because they hardly break 50. It's like it doesn't happen that often. It's such a miraculous thing.
But it's an extra reason to keep on watching because what if?
It is possible to do it.
So making it personal on Mike's video, how would we do that?
Well, we make it personal. He said it was his family was coming.
Well, that was for the previous video, but for the elf video, would we do something similar? Like you can't reuse that every single video, right? So how would we make it personal to him? I would say there has to be some sort of personal connection to like Legolas is my favorite character in the Lord of the Rings, and so I really love all the things to do with elves and how they do this, this, and this. Like I would connect it in that way somehow in your hook.
Or is he short?
No, he's definitely not. No.
I don't know. But yeah, or Elf is my favorite movie.
Add a little comedy, like have his ears look like elves and go, but did you know my ears are like this? I don't know. It'd be goofy.
I think something from it has to be authentically who you are. So like being like, if I just said every single video, if I'm like, and this episode of The Chosen is my absolute favorite, right? I think that's going to be a lie at some point, right? If I just say that every single time, you have to make it personal, but you have to make it authentically personal, because I think that's the deepest connection you can make.
Like, and when you're saying personal, like why you're interested in this?
Yeah. Why does this matter to you? Yeah. Why is this a big deal to you? Why are you making this elf food? Is it because you really love Lord of the Rings and you know, whatever else? I think it comes along with partially that authority, which is why I think these are packaged together. It's like that authority piece of like, I know this really, really well, but at the same time, I care about it because of this. Right. So that's the piece that I think
have to ask him why
really key.
Why he cares about it. But it's important to answer that question in that first 20 seconds.
Yep.
And then back to the new hook that you're introducing. Each hook, I've made some notes from the worksheet. Make sure that it either includes a point of interest, to the person that's wanting to watch it, a problem or challenge.
Yeah.
It has a goal or a mission. That's always fun. And or an escalating stakes or payoff.
Yeah.
One of those will usually work. So
yeah, I think in this case, I think something that he could do is, let's say that like lambus bread is like the crux of the video. It's like the hardest ingredient to make, right? He could go through and say here's the hook structure. It would be okay. We're gonna make elf food today. I've been a chef for this long. I make food from movies and video games. Then it would be the elves are my favorite race in the Lord of the Rings. Probably not race, but set of creatures within Lord of the Rings, right? And then you go from making it personal, you go into the loop, which is, and today's hardest challenge is going to be lambus bread. I'm going to make all these other things, and I'm pretty confident about those, but I'm not so sure I can even make the lambus bread possible. You know, something like that would work really well, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Can you be my coach?
I need to work on it a lot more for sure, but yes, we'll all coach each other, hopefully. But yeah, so
I love it.
I love the structure there. I think it's one of the most powerful things. If you can master this structure, I think it'll change the way that you make videos. Not only how your hook works, but also the rest of your video structure as well. Yeah, which is something that I've struggled with for a long time. If you can do that, I think it's amazing.
It's going to increase your chance for success.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's increasing watch time, and YouTube's going, oh, people keep on watching. Let's show this video to more people.
Yep.
So.